Welcome back to the Playing Out Loud podcast. We have two folks here in studio who, I think you know each other fairly well.
I hope
so. We have the dynamic duo in here, Leo and Max, or as I like to say, Leo and Maximilian.
Quite, using our formal names. Wow, Chelsea.
Formal names. You both are just dynamic creators in so many different ways. And I think, your work has been around town, around this region, because we're going to talk about Frankfurt and Lakeside and Twas and all that good stuff. But I don't know that people have ever heard your stories before. So we get to do that. And maybe we'll have some accents. Who knows?
Oh, no. With me, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump in here. Leo, you are actor, director, arts director, executive artistic director, I think also director of directors, maybe.
Wow, so many directors.
But you are the executive artistic director at The World's a Stage, also known as Twas. Which is so great. You have a degree in theater and performance studies from the University of Chicago.
This I do. Somehow.
Somehow did that.
Don't remember it.
Did that gig. I'm told. I got a piece of paper.
Yeah, I think I do. I got a picture of myself with a piece of paper.
Lots of money was paid.
Lots of money was paid for me to forget everything.
But you have a very strong background in Shakespeare, music, theater, storytelling. So we'll pause there for a second. When did you start performing? What was the first?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was interested in the arts and theater from a really young age. I did my first play when I was 5 years old. I was a Nana the dog in Peter Pan.
Oh my gosh. Well, that sets the stage.
That sets the stage. And I had my hair in two little ponytails. And I'll tell you, I missed, this still shakes me to my core, I forgot to bark once.
Oh,
and someone else had to bark for me. And so that taught me young the importance of being memorized. For your lines and your barks. And then I did a couple other plays, but I actually stopped doing theater around 8 or 9 because my friends were getting agents. And my mom was like, wait a minute. No, my child is not going to start working as a child. Mm-hmm. So I took a step back and basically came back to theater in middle school. And I just fell in love with Shakespeare basically then in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that related to your dad, though? Your dad's like a Shakespeare scholar.
My grandfather. I am what some would call, and I would call, a Shakespeare Nepo baby.
Okay.
There's a new t-shirt. My grandpa, David Bevington, was a Shakespearean scholar. That's my dad's dad. And he taught at the University of Chicago. And he was brilliant. I have his collections. We have half of our book library is editions that he edited, as well as books about Shakespeare. And so I grew up watching a lot of Shakespeare, reading a lot of Shakespeare, because it was just sort of in the family, because David was a Shakespeare scholar.
Kind of a family business.
Kind of the family business. And it skipped a generation, but then it decided to express itself in me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
Do you remember the first Shakespeare play you were in?
The first full Shakespeare play I was in was 8th grade. I was in 12th Night.
Ooh.
I played Duke Orsino.
Okay.
And I was at a Waldorf school, so we all made our own costumes.
Okay.
Made this beautiful ruffled shirt. I had a fake mustache and had my hair tucked up, and apparently nobody recognized me. All the parents were like, "Who is that person playing Duke Orsino?" And I was like, "See, I'm an actor. You didn't. I disappeared into the role." I love Orsino. He's such an asshole.
We're setting the stage here, Leo.
Yeah.
We're setting the stage.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Can you give me just a quick, we're going to get into this later on, but The World's a Stage. Y'all came about late last year?
Well,
or summer of last year? Max.
Yeah. We filed our articles of incorporation in June of 2025. Cool. I got our 501c3 status in October and really started to push fundraising at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so The World's a Stage was really it comes to the fact that we moved up here. In the case of Max is moving back to Northern Michigan. But I moved here in 2020, the
Great
year
year.
of years, the most year of any
Such a
year
year.
recently. Or maybe the least, really, if you think about it. Was it the least year? Let's not worry about it.
For some people,
I'm not gonna
very,
talk about
very least.
very least year. Well, we were up here and really fell in love with this region. I have to think with my human brain for 1 second. What was I talking about?
Twas. How Twas.
Oh, right.
Inception story of Twas.
So we moved up to Traverse City in 2020-ish and really started getting involved with the arts community up here and fall in love with the arts community up here and realized at that point when sort of P45 was had evaporated, we, like other people in the room, were, what is this? Like there's this vacuum and there's this need and this want for there to be more theater. Love OTP. I do a lot of stuff there.
We all have spent so many hours in that green room that
Years.
always smells the same.
It is such a strange smell. It's terrifying. And so, we've been talking about wanting to create more theater opportunities up here ever since we moved back.
Yeah.
And then Lakeside Shakespeare as a project has existed since 2003, I think. And it's this summer Shakespeare festival. And there was sort of this last year before, there was sort of this handing out, this reaching out of the torch, being like, someone else needs to lead this project. And Max and I were like, well, we've been talking about starting a theater project and Lakeside needs to sort of have a new chapter.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, it's us, and oh my gosh, it's now.
Heck yes.
So it was sort of this new thing and, continuing a legacy of a project that's been around for quite some time.
So it's literally history moving forward into the future of whatever Twas will end up being, which could be so many different opportunities.
Right now, we're focused on creating performance opportunities, largely Shakespeare right now, as well as education. And we're putting a lot of our new efforts towards education, which is really exciting, to create more experiences, artistic experiences, and literary experiences for kids, largely in Benzie County, but also the region.
Yeah.
The whole region.
I love so much. I did a touring, it wasn't a Shakespeare show, but it was a touring play that we as college kids did, and we went around to schools and did it.
Ooh, yeah.
And it was written by our theater department director, because he was a published playwright, and it was called The Brave Little Tailor. And all of our costumes we just wore with black leggings or, you know, kind of some fun stuff, I guess to say, but very minimal. And then all of our props fit into a trunk. But then we'd open the trunk and we'd pull it out and it became the show. And it was so much fun. And I have worked with 2 Shakespeare companies in the past and I just loved it. It was always summer months, which is fun too, especially in West Michigan, going down to Saugatuck and Benton Harbor and all these great places that you're just not maybe typically going to if you live in Grand Rapids at least. And I just loved it so much. And so I get super jazzed hearing about the potential of maybe something like that or going into schools or something like that, because, I also think about Hamnet, right? Huge, incredible movie, incredible book that has made waves once again in the Shakespeare world, and that we're bringing these classic stories into real life and we're making it accessible for people.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm giddy jazzed over here about all your ideas. Wonderful. Okay, so performance studies, Chicago, all that great stuff. Well, you already talked about moving in the year of 2020. Nothing happened that year. You have obviously acted, directed at OTP here. You were in Waitress. You were an absolute just blasty blast.
I had a blast in Waitress. I loved getting to be, that show was a lot of heaviness. And I had the joy of being I'm just the fun parts.
Yeah.
I'm only the comic relief.
Yeah.
And letting my Southern accent bubble back up. It was really nice.
Yes. You were also in Beauty and the Beast, but you've done a lot more, I think maybe more specifically with Young Company. You've done a ton of work with them. Is there something specific that you just love about working with kids? I'm seeing a tie here, I guess is what I'm saying, a little bit of a tie between maybe Twas programming and then your experience maybe with Young Company.
I mean, I've always loved kids. There's something so, as a creative person, there's something so inspirational about working with kids who, younger kids, who haven't yet lost the innate play that they have, right? When we're little, play is how we work through learning new things. It's how we work through our problems and our excitement. And it's just a way of life. It's oh, I'm going to pretend I'm this. I'm going to pretend I'm this. And it's really what it is, this unbounded creativity. And so just personally, I experience so much joy being around kids because of that, like, again, that younger kids being like, having that lack of judgment, just being ready to jump into things and do them, just existing as a person without all the yuck that we learn to do as adults, right? And then once you're working with a little bit older kids, suddenly you're watching people build themselves. We're watching people create their own personalities, create their own skill sets, and decide what stories are interesting to them and what they want to tell. And so really, human people, surprise, are fascinating and beautiful creatures. And so working with kids just like I think reminds me of the like beauty that it is to be a human, you know? Like we lose it. Life is busy and we live in capitalism and everything is terrible. Manic laughter from the crowd. But like, you know, you work with kids and you're like, right, the core of humanity is just that we're all these little guys. We're all silly little guys and we want to work together and we have problems working together. So yeah, I love kids. I teach at the Playhouse, I teach the 5 to 8-year-olds. That's sort of the little group I've inherited. They're crazy. They're so crazy. They're so crazy. I love them dearly. That's I respect people who teach children day in, day out. I teach them 1 day a week, 1 hour. And I'm like, I love them dearly more than anything else in the world. And I need to not see them again for a week. But like, love them more. It's like, and it's that thing where I've been talking a lot with Max and I think some friends recently about how like doing the work we're doing with the TWAS and doing what I'm doing, teaching kids and all the stuff we're doing now is like some of the hardest work I've ever done in my life, but also the most rewarding work I've ever done in my life. So love teaching young kids. Ooh, and then not me getting distracted. The Hobbit. I got to direct The Hobbit at the Playhouse with children. And okay, I grew up, my dad would read me The Hobbit when I went to sleep. Like that was like our first stories. I learned to love riddles and puzzles from The Hobbit. I got really into all of Tolkien's works. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings Tolkien's fan out there. Like I want to recognize there are people who know way more than I do. Yeah. But my whole heart belongs to fantasy. It was like truly the like honor of my life to direct that play and like watch. I was just looking through photos after the show and I'm just like fully in tears because it was, and that was working with kids 8 through 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, there we go. We got there. 8 or 9 through 16. And
there were 37?
There were 30, a lot of them.
That's so many small humans in one space.
A lot of humans.
I hope there were enough windows.
Playhouse? Playhouse.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No
My
windows. And again, that the play we were at like has old-fashioned text. It's The Hobbit, you know? And similarly to Shakespeare, it's like to kids, the text they're working with isn't the way they talk. And to watch them like make sense of these words, make sense of these characters, and like create, again, getting to guide them through creating a like world of all their own where all of their input gets to exist, all of their stories get to exist. I mean, it's just beautiful. Well, that will probably be like one of my favorite processes to have been involved with ever. That cast was really magical. And also, like, there was, like, no social problems. Like, I'm so like used to there being drama in rooms. Something magical happened, and they were like, no, we're going to give you no drama and all friendship. And I was like, what magic happened in this room?
Aww.
Like, what phenomenal kids.
Shout out to the cast of The Hobbit. Shout out to the
cast and crew of The Hobbit. Killed it. Killed it.
Amazing. I'm going to segue into some of your Shakespeare college stuff later. I promise.
Yes, please.
We'll circle back.
Please. Let Max start talking.
Maximilian. You are a small business owner, an arts enthusiast. That's adorable. And board president of the World's a Stage. What's it feel like to be a board president? Do you get like a crown or extra swag or...
My dad has been the board president of a couple different organizations. He always used to tell me that he had a friend that said to him, Joel, never be the president of anything. And here I am.
Here we are. You're like, well, took that and threw that out.
No, it's a special thing. I mean, I think Leo and I are doing this together. And it feels like such a collaborative process to be building this organization, the World's a Stage, with some incredible board members that we have backing us up here. And then taking on the Lakeside Shakespeare thing. It's like such a magical, cool thing.
Creation. It's the best of so many things all in one. You have something that's been in existence and beloved by many people across many counties and cities, et cetera, and whose kids have gone through, those programs and now do theater or just like have a big heart for it. But then you also get to create your own road at the same time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I was one of those kids that grew up doing a lot of the Lakeside Shakespeare kids programming and high school internship as well through them. And like, it has been such an important part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
They started in 2003. This Chicago actress, Elizabeth Laidlaw, started the whole...
Laidlaw.
Mm-hmm. And, for her, it was this connection between Frankfurt, where she would summer, and Chicago, where she was living and working as an artist, as an actor. And it was like, okay, how can I bridge these two spaces and bring this creativity of Chicago theater to Frankfurt?
Yeah.
And I just got to be a lucky fly on the wall for, 20 years of getting to see professional Chicago theater in Frankfurt, Michigan.
Yeah.
What a crazy
Shout
cool
out
thing.
A&W.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but could be.
Yeah, Chelsea's awesome. A&W.
Also Crystal Gardens, let's talk. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, what an incredible experience to have for so long. And you had no idea, right? When you were little, you're just like, this is great.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
growing up with
exactly.
that.
And I mean, I think on so many levels, Lakeside is such a cool thing for the community,
Yep.
right? It's like, 200, 250 people come out every night to see Shakespeare in the Park. That's so cool. And it's such a cool thing for the kids that get to access that educational programming like I did. The high school internship is like a super intensive, like 2-week crazy thing.
It's so cool, though. You
It's
get
so
to
cool.
do your own play and also be in the professional plays, like doing small bit parts. Like these kids, just spend 2 weeks immersed in theater.
And it's like all aspects of theater, right? Like I am not an actor and I love theater. And so for me in high school, it was music. So I was working with the sound designer. A couple of years I would go down to Chicago and learn the music alongside the actors and the sound designer, and then get to go back home and rehearse it and then put it on in this space and see it all come to life, right?
Wow.
Which it was so fun. It was that's my space in theater. It's try, ignore me. But I love to see the magic happen and be part of it coming alive. So
Absolutely. I refer, through Solstice Theater, I say, we cherish both our onstage and our backstage talent, equal amounts.
Yeah.
What you see on stage with the people being funny and saying the words and stuff is only as good as your production team in the background. So you're all a winning thing. And if you have a weak arm or something like that, you got to figure out how to find that balance in a way, because whether your audience is coming outside to Tank Hill and seeing a show, or if it's free in a park, or if it's a free reading, or it's children's theater, or it's whatever, your audience deserves that great stuff. And so having people that are passionate about doing really great production work makes everything better.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
love it.
Yeah. And I think that's the fun thing, for me, being able to just be part of that from such an early age and learn to love it like that means that today, I'm not doing the production stuff, but being involved like I am as board president of this organization is, well, in many ways it's funding, right?
Yes.
But it's saying this is so important to me and it needs to happen. And I think being able to do something about that.
Yeah. Take the action.
Right.
Action's imperative. It's not just sitting around and hoping that funding magically shows up.
Oh no, not the F word.
The new F word, funding. There's a good marketing thing right there for you. We got to talk about it, the F word, y'all.
No.
Wonderful. You also, and we'll segue back to kind of the production side, because you, as a small business owner, do produce art in a different way, right? Video, photo, all that good stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I'm a videographer, photographer. And that also, for me, started at a very young age. And I think felt in many ways tied to what I was learning in the theater spaces, right? It's how to really be creative and express myself in different mediums. And for me, I started doing commercial video work very young.
Wow.
In high school, my first paid video gig.
Paid here being a...
It was split 50-50. I think I got $35 and a frozen chicken.
Wow. Oh, okay.
It's Benson County.
Let's bring back bartering though, because that's great.
Yeah. No, I'm waiting to get the house with the ducks and then have the flour. Because somebody like, would you like some cut flowers? And I could maybe get some cheese. You know, like I'm so ready for that. I'm ready to be like, I have duck eggs. What can we exchange, Leo?
Yes. We're going to do chickens. That's our plan. I grew up with chickens. I love chickens.
Okay, you do chickens. I'll
you
do
the
ducks.
ducks.
Yeah.
We can collaborate. We can
certified.
offer a fowl mixed egg.
We can have a foul party.
The F
Murder
party.
most foul.
Oh, I'm cackling. Murder most foul. Well, and then murder, we would need crows.
Ooh, okay,
All
there
the
we go.
birds. All the
We'll have to get
birds.
your sister, Max. She's all about the, what's
Shiny
the word?
things?
Corvids? Is that what they are?
She a crow? I'm so confused.
I
She
would be
was-
surprised.
She has a project of befriending crows. I'm crazy. This is
oh.
a conversation for another time.
Crows are amazing, and
Crows are amazing.
Crows should be involved in more theatrical productions,
I agree.
live
Bring
or
back
otherwise.
crows.
Bring back crows.
What do you mean otherwise, Chelsea?
I mean, like fake crows.
Fake
Like
crows.
prop-
Okay.
like a prop
Live
crow.
or fake. Great.
Like I'm just hanging dead crows. What? This isn't Macbeth. It could be. It might be the summer. Oh my gosh. Okay. Max, you also earned a master's in media studies from the University of a little country called Amsterdam. How did that? Where'd you go? What happened to get you to Amsterdam? It sounds wildly unique, and I know that language is Danish, right?
Dutch.
Yep. Incredibly difficult is what I hear.
Nee, dat is niet waar. Ik kan het spreken. Een beetje.
Okay, crow.
So my mom is Dutch. She
Okay.
actually came to Northern Michigan in the early 90s on an exchange program.
Okay.
And came to NMC, of all places, to do an exchange. And
Thank you.
met my dad. Here I am. So I have dual citizenship. So for me, looking at college, there was go to school in the U.S. and the financial burden that
Pay
that
a
carried.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was go to school in the Netherlands.
For free 99?
Yeah, it was very affordable. So
yeah.
mhm.
Solid choice.
So that was a big part of it.
Well-
But the other part of it was just that it was I grew up in Frankfurt and we went to the Netherlands all the time. It was every school break, every
Oh, wow.
Because you have family
yeah,
there.
I have a lot
Yeah.
of family there. But I had never really lived there. And I think it was this opportunity for me to go, what is this other part of my identity and my nationality?
Yeah.
And both of the programs that I did actually were in English.
Okay.
So that helped.
Okay. All right.
International.
But very international. And that was
Yeah.
a super cool part of it.
Yeah.
Half Dutch students and half totally international people from all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think growing up in Frankfurt, great experience to have, right? To really be in such an international environment.
I love that.
Yeah.
So did you have to take any language classes while you were there? Or was that not, because it's an English program, not mandatory?
Yeah, not mandatory. I did actually take some Dutch classes just to, help myself get better at it.
Do you speak Dutch at all with your mom?
Not with my mom, no. She tried to teach us when we were young. And, it's that tough thing, being here and being surrounded by English.
Yeah.
Her English is great. She's lived in the US now longer than she lived in the Netherlands. So,
Yeah. It's a hard language.
Yeah.
It's not the Romance languages.
right.
Yeah, although I will say it's got a lot of similarities to English.
Yeah.
There's a lot of resonance there. It's really interesting. I think it's my understanding that you guys were I have it on good, how do you say this?
Authority?
Good authority that Max was a monster of a child.
Oh my.
So
That's true.
Max the Monster.
Max the Monster, Maximilian, the Monster Million. Who,
So it's like your first
and was
rap
just
album.
no, I won't. Mom was Dutch, maybe? No. I won't
right.
speak that. I mean, I think that, hold up, that I think there's a real thing where it's if you're that language, it's when we're asking our kids, when you're being asked to participate in something like that, you can feel, I think I felt this too with my parents, not with another language, but you can feel as a kid really dramatically when you're othering yourself. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do you think that was part of it all, Max? Because I grew up in the South with parents who weren't from the South. My mom's from California. And so she was very much
yeah.
not a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother and I both felt that we had to sort of detach ourselves from our parents. I don't know. Am I totally...
No, I mean, I think you're right. I don't know how much, I don't know that I was cognizant of it really, but I think that there's a term for folks who grow up in cultures outside of their parents, third culture kids. And I think I have a very unique experience of something like that. Even though I did grow up here, surrounded by my dad's family, it's I think I've always felt a disconnect with both cultures and a connection to both cultures. And that's
Yeah.
really hard, right? It's
Yeah.
I know that I don't fit in fully. in either place. But I also feel like whenever I'm here that there's something missing, and whenever I'm there that there's something missing.
Yeah.
But I think that it's also such a cool experience to have, right? And like in an increasingly global world, right? It's like this is, I think it's so much easier than it was right before.
Yeah.
Like my parents, when they were first dating and, living across the ocean from each other, it was like, let's fax, right?
Faxes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so Leo and I were long distance
for quite some time.
Yeah, 3 years. And, that was so much easier.
We could FaceTime.
You could, yeah.
We did also write letters, though.
Yeah.
That's so cute. 2 weeks later, did you get
right?
Yeah, did you get it? It is at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Fun fact, while we're talking about us writing letters, we met because of Lakeside.
That's what this is all fascinating. So your parents were long distance, you two were long distance, but you also met at Lakeside.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of overlapping and beautiful.
There's resonance there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd been studying in Chicago and I got it was 2017, I think. I got an apprentice acting gig with Lakeside. And I came up here while we rehearsed in Chicago. We were doing that season. It was Coriolanus and Merchant of Venice. And I came up here, I say, and it's very true that I fell in love with the region and fell in love with Max. And it was like, and we were just talking about this. There's something about so back when I did it, it was a 2-week season. And since 2020, there wasn't one that year. And then, but since then, it got reduced to a single week season. And this year, we're doing the big F word to fundraising to get back to a 2-week season. We're doing a 2-week season because there's something really magical about those 2 weeks of summer of Shakespeare in this magical place. And I think we would have fallen in love anywhere that we met, truly. But I think we knew quicker than we would have known anywhere else because of the magic of the community that's Frankfurt and Lakeside, and the space that is Tank Hill, and the creativity and just whirlwind of a beautiful 2 weeks that is.
I'm looking forward to it, I will say. And that's a perfect segue. So Lakeside Shakespeare will be back. I have July 23rd through the 31st.
Through August 1st.
August 1st.
We added a
Saturday.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you have 2 just knock them out of the park productions, A Midsummer Night's Dream and Macbeth.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
They are going to be so much fun. I'm so incredibly excited. Yeah, we were if we're coming back to 2 weeks, it needs to be the absolute bangers of shows. It's been a long time since we've done either of these. With any company that has a focus on some material, you end up being how long do you come back to the same shows? Max, do you happen to remember when the last time they did Midsummer Macbeth was?
I'm going to throw a number out there. I think it was 2010.
2010. And I think we didn't do this on purpose, but I think they did those two together. We didn't mean to do that again.
I mean, it's a great
show.
season.
But if you think about the juxtaposition of the two and also what's happening in our world, you're yeah, this is it. I don't know that you could do 2 better Shakespeare offerings back to back, just with holistically everything that's happening, right?
I think the thing about this season is it's going to be I'm so excited for all the magic. Because I'd already described the experience of Lakeside as magical, and I think that space, there's something that just feels it's this little clearing in the woods, and it's right off a road, so you wouldn't think it would be there, but it's so special, so transportive, and I'm so excited to bring that space alive with the dark, messy, bloody magic of Macbeth, as well as the more natural magic of Midsummer. Fun fact, this Midsummer is going to be set, get this, at a resort, a tropical resort.
Ooh.
Almost like White Lotus.
Okay, yeah.
So the mechanicals, there's you're going to follow the people who are working at the spa, or it's not a spa, at the
hotel?
People who are working at the resort and all of their problems. And then the young lovers and their parents, who have come into the resort for a vacation or whatever.
Amazing.
And then the magic of the tropical island all around them.
Can I be a plant in the background? I could do a really solid snake plant. I can just real vertical.
I've got really good news for you, which is that Lakeside, among many other things, tends to be really audience interactive, right? So especially with Lakeside, I have it on, once again, good authority that there's going to be some funkiness to the script that's going to involve the audience. We're definitely going to have actors coming through the audience. Beware the actors. They have limits. comments. They've been told what they can't bite you, etc. I know.
I was hoping
Trying
to get that
can't
new
get sued.
Shakespeare virus so I could speak weird more commonly.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay. All right. So let's segue real quick into another Shakespeare event that I think is probably your first really for Twas. The belated Ides of March-ish April.
Okay. Okay, here's the deal. So the Ides of March. Now,
You
listeners.
may remember the Ides of March 2026.
2026.
Was a
As a-
snowstorm.
As a snowstorm. And yeah, if listeners, Chelsea is one of our actors in Ides.
Dun, dun.
So yeah, basically, Ides of March is a roaming one-day Shakespeare festival at the Commons that we scheduled on a day of doom. And unfortunately, the doom came on that day in the form of, listen, was it that bad?
It wasn't, okay, 2 o'clock rolled around and I explicitly texted my dad and I said, we totally could have performed.
I know.
And he goes, yeah, you probably could have.
Yeah.
But then by 5 o'clock I went,
Here's
Yeah.
here's the
Sketch.
thing about here's the thing that we realized week of. We should have realized earlier week of. We ended up canceling it. Surprise. Rescheduling. It's true, not canceling, rescheduling. We ended because we were like, guarantee. This is the thing with events that this one isn't outdoors. It's indoors, but it requires walking around, right? And the thing with events is that outdoors, it feels if you cancel or reschedule, it's going to be fine. And if you don't, the weather's going to be so bad.
Definitely
And
would have
we
snowed more.
definitely would have
Yeah.
snowed more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were like, out of those two options, it's much better to just reschedule and have it be not that bad, because then people aren't like, we didn't want the audience to come in and then be nervous if they could get home, even if it was okay for half the day or whatever. So we ended up, all this to say, events, Michigan weather, what's going on? Oh my gosh, it'd be great if we had good forecasting. It'd be great if we didn't defund weather. Sorry, who said that? Max, what was I talking about?
Well,
Ides.
I think it's one of those things, right? Like, yes, this was our first programming basically as this organization. It's one of those things that is really helpful to learn. And now we know. You know?
Yeah.
I think you have to experience what it's like to reschedule something that you've been working so hard on and like have held so tightly to and really want to happen.
Yeah.
And then you have to go, no, you know what? It's going to be better for everyone involved.
And the
If
good
we-
news is
Yeah.
that it is going to happen, on April 19th. That is a Sunday, April 19th. At the Commons, we've got some wonderful businesses, Left Foot Charlie, Higher Grounds, Earthen Ales, O'Brien Vineyards, and the Mercado are all hosting these little scenes. Chelsea is going to be at O'Brien Vineyards doing a delicious scene from Two Gentlemen of Verona.
Boozy brunch.
Boozy
let's go.
brunch. I still have that. I'm so excited. I hope we can use that sun hat. I got a sun hat.
Oh,
What does
it's a
it say?
guarantee.
Okay, great. It's so much fun.
Doesn't it say like rose all day?
Rose all day. And that's the energy of that scene.
But then that with the Shakespeare shirt I got that says it's a skull with a crown. I'm selling this. It's a skull with a crown on it, and it says Shakespeare, keeping it dramatic since like 15, whatever.
good.
I'm like, we're gonna wear that plus.
That makes it, I think that's one of the coolest things to me about Shakespeare, though, is that you can stage it in
you
these.
can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And it's like this, I think a lot of people are concerned when they hear Shakespeare that they won't get it or that it is like going to be over their head, that they need to go do research beforehand.
It's just going to be boring.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so fun, right? It can be so fun. And I think that's one of the coolest things about staging it and
Like
having
this.
fun with. Yeah.
Yeah, like how Ides is going to be like these little, it's all bite-sized pieces. It's like go to one venue, see a scene, sip a drink, you watch the scene for like 5-10 minutes, hang out with your friends, go to the next venue, see another scene, and you can really do it in any order you want. It could be called a bard crawl.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that good?
I like that.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so excited for it.
So
Again, just nerding out on that and being able to bring a modern take on a classic scene in a modern space that also has like it's old, right? Like
Yeah.
there could not be better parallels
And, like-
from my perspective.
And also, like, I love doing theater in non-theater spaces, especially Shakespeare. Because I think when we think of Shakespeare, when we think of it like old-fashioned plays, there's so many like givens in your head, so many associations you have. So that honestly can interfere with your enjoyment of the play. If, for instance, let's talk Romeo and Juliet. When I say that, most of us have read that in English. English class, right? A lot of people have encountered that in ways that are like, it's a book on a page and I had to read it and I didn't want to, right? But when you take that and you can place it in a non-traditional venue, suddenly you get to lose all of that. You go, wait, okay, it's Rojo, but it's in a bar. So what is it now? Now it's not that book on the page. And I think right away, before we even talk about all the cool opportunities and affordances of these venues that are really unique for our community, first of all, like love all these businesses, so excited to work with them. And so excited to let their spaces inspire how audience members see these scenes. Like, oh my gosh, we're doing a scene from Hamlet at Love Fit Charlie at the tasting room, and we didn't realize that, should I say this? It's okay. Spoiler alert. They're doing a scene with a ghost, and there's this big, at Love Fit Charlie, you can sort of see it. There's these back rooms where they make the wine and stuff, right? Am I wrong about this? And there's this like sliding metal door. When you move that, I went there with my ghost actor, and he opened that, we moved that door, and it makes the most delicious, like metallic grinding sound. You're like, this would be the door that the ghost would come through. And it's just like, it's really cool to these spaces all have so many unique qualities that get to suddenly become part of the scenes and leave their mark on Shakespeare. That's so cool.
Yeah, and you never had to go to a theater to do it. No, because the world's a stage.
The world is a stage. Wow. It's all making sense. It's almost like we had a brain when we decided to do this thing.
Almost. It's wildly exciting. I have talked to a lot of people that they're so excited for it. And I think they're excited that it'll be April.
Yes.
And the weather will likely participate better.
I mean, even if it's rain, that's not storm.
It's sunny today. As of this recording, it's sunny today. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
But it's going to be, the point is it's all indoors. They're pretty close together. All the shows are indoors. So, and if it's a little cold or a little sprinkly, that just means that it'll be even warmer and nicer when you sit down inside a venue and get to relax and enjoy.
And have a bevy. Yeah, warm
bevy.
Up. Absolutely. I find it interesting that, Max, you grew up with Lakeside and being exposed to Shakespeare for many years. And then Leo, you just forteed into it in college. And so from both of you, very young ages, you both were exposed to this particular medium of the performing arts. And so much so that Leo, you directed Shakespeare in college. Which plays? Was it Richard III?
I directed Henry VI. Don't get me started on Henry VI. So Henry VI is technically 3 plays. Henry VI parts 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 is trash. But hold up. Part 1's trash, but in a way that I love. Okay, I love all of them. Part 1 is just really confused. It was written later, so it's kind of like a prequel, and it has all the things you'd sort of expect in a prequel. Pirates, Joan of Arc. know.
Sure, yeah.
You know, the classics. It's sort of really chaotic, but I love it. So parts 2 and 3 are epic. When you think about Shakespeare histories, when you think about Richard III, for instance, you watch Richard III, one of the most iconic villains of all time, grow into his villainy through Henry VI parts 2 and 3. When I directed, I ended it with him standing and a spotlight on him to be don't you want to see what this man does? Now, that was in the next show, but it's watching a villain come into power as you're watching a weak king losing power. It's this. So, see, I'm going crazy. I think some of my favorite plays are the histories, period. Okay. Because they're these incredible interpersonal dramas that have the stakes of kingdoms. So when you have a king, in the case of Henry VI or Richard II, similar in that they were both child kings, right, who grew up with powerful people sort of pulling strings above them and became, in Shakespeare's portrayals of them, I would argue in both of their own ways, they are good people, but they're not good kings. They can't wield the power. They can't control people the way they need to. And so these forces of personality just come in and seize them. In Henry VI, parts 2 and 3, you also see I think my favorite female character of all of Shakespeare's works, Queen Margaret. We see her come into herself. She by the end of it is leading armies. She is the best. She's so cool. Margaret, I love you. So oh my gosh, how did I even get here? I love all of the histories. I was so lucky to direct Henry VI. I basically cut them all down into one play. Okay. 1, 2, and 3, which was insane. Things happen so fast. There's a whole war that happens during it. And truly, I think those plays, 2 and 3, are Max, have you read those? I'm looking at you. You haven't read Henry VI verse 23?
Max, what's it like living with this big of a Shakespeare nerd?
What is it? You tell me. Huh? Most of Max's days are me doing what I just did, being like, okay, so here's why. This play is really good.
Yeah.
Life-giving, I would say.
What is it like? You tell me.
Well, you've been to our house. There's a bookcase full of Shakespeare, and above it is a portrait of Shakespeare. I think that
Listen, that
on
portrait,
Sundays we read Shakespeare and we discuss how it applies to our lives.
Listen.
Well, I mean, I think that there's something so cool too. Like, I had the immense privilege of meeting Leo's grandparents before they passed away, and I think that there's such a cool thing for me about the legacy of their work.
Yeah.
That Leo gets to carry on through this project that we're working on, but also just through the love of the art and of this work.
I will personally say, I don't know that I've met anyone, even in my theater degree when I took, I think, 2 different Shakespeare classes and the touring companies I've worked with and stuff, I don't know that I've ever met someone so passionate. And I mean that in truly the best way possible, because I think, again, thinking about the text of this historical text that so many people feel is inapproachable, and the way that even just my experience with Ides and my scene partner, Danielle, not super well versed in Shakespeare, but boy, did she light up. She lights up in that scene. And that's because I think that again, kind of thinking about directors, actors, things like that. When you have somebody at the helm that has a vision for how to really put Shakespeare, not flip it on its head, but really perform Shakespeare in a way that brings out its humanity and it's not just text, everything just comes to life. And I think that's just I can't wait for you to direct. How many more? You're going to direct more, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just waiting.
I'm so
sign me
excited.
up.
I have been working for a long time on a reduced script of 12th Night that I really want to put up.
It's such a fun show.
It's such a fun show. I rant a lot about Shakespeare, but really when it comes down to it, the reasons I love it are because there's a couple of reasons. One, he is some of just the best characters you've ever seen. Oh my gosh. The characters I'm thinking about 12th Night, you've got just some of the most wonderful fools of all time. His young lovers are so young and in love and stupid, and his villains are so incredibly just sharp and on it. His characters are just larger than life. They're beautiful. But I think more than that, he writes the way people feel. When you see a movie or a play or whatever, or even read a novel and you're cool, this person is so good at writing the way people talk. We can all feel the opposite when you're okay, that script was weird. That's not how people talk. Or you'll be whoa, we were just watching Only Murders in the Building. So and we were we love the script. That script is written the way that they talk, right? And I think similar to that, Shakespeare isn't written the way people talk. Even back then, that's not how people talked.
Right.
It's written true to how people feel. So when you hear a monologue, you're stepping right into a character's heart. And it's just so beautiful. And
it's also we were talking earlier about the responses that you wish you could have in a situation, right? It's so witty. It's oh yeah, I wish I could have thought about that response, right? And I think that so much the poetry of it, it's so sharp.
It's nice to listen to, and it's nice to it's pretty.
Yeah.
But more than that, it's just it feels true, I think.
Yeah.
Right? When you look at it at its core, it's these are just people feeling things. You know?
I mean, look, and I think the breadth of Shakespeare's work also spans so much, right? At this age, Romeo and Juliet doesn't do a whole lot for me. Maybe the nurse, that role, I could just be oh my God, Yeah. I could probably empathize knowing what I know about parents and politics and things. You can kind of empathize with some characters more, but that story doesn't really connect with me the way that it did when I was a lot younger and I had big romantic feelings. Not that I don't anymore, yikes, but it's just different, right?
Yeah.
But then thinking about, Two Gentlemen of Verona, this just cute little micro scene of this woman who's, maybe a little, she's young, boozy brunch. She's thinking about lots of very specific things. And she's tell me some stuff. I need this vote of confidence. And also, I've been keeping a secret. I will do literally anything for this Jude.
Yes.
And I mean, it's maybe that part's not relatable. I don't know. But it's the idea, though, of the passion behind the characters and the feeling of we do all crave a love that is so truly passionate and intense, but has a good compass to it. And I don't know, even the villains, like, I'm going to say two things about villains. Shakespeare's villains, like, it makes me wish that today's modern villains were smarter, but also really grateful that they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, man, it's a good thing we don't have an actual real life living, like Macbeth or whatever, in our midst. But boy, am I glad we don't, I don't know. There's just different sentiments that you get from different pieces now. And I think as you get older, the best part of like rereading Shakespeare, like over and over, is like you get something different at every point in your life.
Yeah.
Even every year.
Yeah.
That's what I've said for the longest time, is that like I love Shakespeare because every time you read something, even if you've read it 4 times before, you get something new every time.
Yeah. I know. I think I love puzzles. I love riddles. I love things like this. And I think that's probably a big part of why I love working with the text of Shakespeare so much, is exactly that reason, that you can go back to it and go back to it. So like last year or something, I did a little workshop on Shakespeare at Greenspire High School. And we were reading through soliloquies, through monologues. And several of those monologues I had been working with for like years. Like there were things I knew very well and I had performed or had worked with, I'd read. And one of these kids brought up a new reading of the thing that I had not thought of yet. And I was like, yes, like, of course and I love that, like, you found that and that I found so many other things, but like that was still waiting there. Like, I love how much it's so rich.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's something that if you don't want to nerd out deep in the text, it's so beautifully enjoyable from an audience level. And it's fun, is like big and dramatic, and it's all of that stuff. This is the popular media of the time. The histories are like, they're the Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
The rom-coms are the rom-coms. Like, and when you see a great production, you understand that we're telling the same stories. We've always been telling the same stories, and they're wonderful now, and they were wonderful then.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful like connection with all the people that have told and heard these stories over the years,
And as we have evolved as humans over time in many different like ways, areas, technology, all that stuff, right? These stories still remain true.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the human condition and the human spirit. Like, you're like, that's not fake. It's not like, other stories we might know or be familiar, like, yeah, I mean, that was cool, but that doesn't age very well. You know what I mean? Shakespeare's never in a position that it didn't age well, because what year are we in?
And we're still talking about him. Now,
Yeah.
listen, I will say this. There are some problems with some of those plays, right? Like, there's a lot of anti-Semitism. There's a lot of misogyny, right? There's a lot of, Max and I were just talking about this earlier today. Like, there's a lot of human problems baked into that text.
Yes.
They're products of their time. Like, every piece of art is the product of its time.
Like, if you watch a rom-com from the 90s, you're going to see
Yeah.
some stuff and go, ooh, that was not,
Yeah.
What did we think?
Yep.
And so if you're working with Shakespeare, you're going to have to engage with some of that stuff. And that's okay. And the really cool thing is that it's in the public domain, which means you can bust it open. You can make it about the problems. You can go in and say, I just want this to be fun, and delete as many problems as you want. Like, you can change the text. And I love when people like go inside of a play and like let it be a problem, right? Be like, what happens if we ask the question about the women in this play?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we make it about that? Saw a great production of Measure for Measure at Interlochen. Was that last summer or the summer before? Man, beautiful. And they did that. They were like, this is a problem play. We're going to make it a problem play. So there are things in it that haven't aged well, but it's just more to engage with, really.
Yeah.
And it's not from that long ago. When you start looking at human lives, like all of those problems are still with us.
Well, and I think that's kind of like the weird flip on like when you see like a rom-com from like the 90s, like certain very specific things, you're like, those don't age well. But the Shakespeare stuff, you're like, it only ages well depending on how you interpret it and what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I don't know, my polite argument, I guess, of like, it does, even the problems in it, like, work with it.
Yeah.
Because you can't with the 90s film because it's done. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, no one's going to go back and amend that kind of sort of thing, right? And also because Shakespeare's like living. It's truly always living.
Yeah.
Like, it's live productions most of the time. But it's also been in countless televised sort of, formatting as well. I think,
love adaptations.
Yes. I loved Hamnet is not based on a play. It is based on the life of Shakespeare, but it is not told through Shakespeare's voice.
Yeah.
And I get goosebumps just thinking about how phenomenal that was. And I think that's, like, for me, I'm like, that's the best Shakespeare movie I've seen from a not play performance standpoint. That's my absolute favorite.
Can I confess something? I haven't seen it.
I know. I'm working on it. Remember we talked about this.
I know.
You gotta get Ides done.
I gotta get Ides done. What? April 20th. Here I go.
2-3 weeks. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about a bazillion things today. I want to ask you both, if you had a piece of advice you could give to somebody who is just terrified of Shakespeare, but like curious and maybe wants to try it or is open to trying it, what's something you would tell them?
I think you have to watch it. I think you have to see a performance. You have to find either a live performance or watch a movie. Like it is meant to be consumed as a piece of performing art.
Yeah.
Okay.
These plays weren't written as full manuscripts. They were literally written as single actor parts.
Right.
And all of the scripts we have were all pieced together after the fact. Like these were not written as things to be read. So don't try and read it first off the bat. Just watch it. And there are so many good adaptations. Like older doesn't mean better. I think like find an adaptation that looks cool to you and watch it. Like the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet made it really dramatic, made it really big and really bold, changed a lot of like things aesthetically. Still a phenomenal adaptation. Go watch that. There are so many other great adaptations. I'm trying to think of what the ones there.
But that's a good one.
That's a good one. Or watch it, or start with like straight up adaptations if you want. If you feel like if you're super far out, Google like adaptations of things. Watch Clueless. No, that's Emma. I'm losing my mind. What's the one I was like? Watch 10 Things I Hate About You. Mm-hmm. And then go watch Taming of the Shrew. They're very different, but you get
But it's a great adaptation.
It's a phenomenal adaptation. Mm-hmm. I love, another great movie to watch. I would say I'm a 12th Night fan, so I would say there's the 12th Night with Helena Bonham Carter in it. That's a phenomenal version. I'll say that one leans more into the like drama of it than the comedy of it. So that one, it's more of like an interpersonal drama than a like laugh out loud comedy. Still a phenomenal adaptation.
But that's the super fun thing, right? Is like you can take so many different angles on a show like 12th Night.
Yeah.
So you can lean into all of the drama, or you can be like, no, this is just haha, this is great. This is so much fun.
Yeah.
Or just go on YouTube. There's some great recordings of plays on YouTube. There's a 12th Night, I don't know what year, Paul Rudd is Orsino. Young Paul Rudd is Orsino. The full thing is on there. He's a full pool on stage. He gets in his tiny little purple Speedo and gets into the pool.
That sounds fun.
I think that's my ultimate 12th Night.
Yes. So she's the man from
She's the Man.
Yes. Yeah. That's
Amanda Bynes.
Well known.
I love She's the Man. Tampons in the nose, baby. Also, like as a queer person, just gonna go out there and say Shakespeare is like ripe with queerness, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways, Shakespeare, unbeknownst to even himself, was well in advance of so many concepts that just weren't out there. Because again, going back to what you said of like, it's about feeling. Yeah. It's about feelings. It's about sentiments. And that's just so true to your compass, your internal compass. Yeah. And so it's like, he wrote the truth of humans, like
which is that simple. Which is that we're beautiful and messy and jealous, and we crave love, and when we don't get it, terrible things can happen,
and we have experienced fear, and we do crazy things for to try to push that aside, and we sometimes suck at communicating and like all those things. And
there's the immense capacity for cruelty, like for real terrible cruelty that is obviously something we've been fascinated with forever. There's some phenomenal Shakespeare plays that like really delve into that. We saw phenomenal production, oh my God, of, name it, Max, what's it called? The terrible one I will never watch again.
You told me about
Titus Andronicus.
The really bloody one.
At the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse, which is attached to the Globe. And it was like a phenomenal performance. I don't like seeing plays that are about that much cruelty. Yeah. It's really hard on me.
Really terrible play.
But it's a really good play. It really boils all of the terribleness in people, all of the terrible things we can do when we're driven to do them, down to like what they are, which is atrocious.
Yeah.
And those like endless cycles of revenge.
Yeah. The human capacity is
for love, for cruelty.
The good, the bad, and
the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And it's like so deeply on display in all of Shakespeare's works.
And I think, these stories are not unique. That's the cool thing too, right? Like these are adaptations in themselves of stories that have existed for a long time for a lot of his plays. And so I think part of the cool thing is that he brings like his own life to them, which is so funny to say now this many years later, right? But I think that's such a huge part of it too. It's like, why is his version of this story that we've been telling for hundreds and hundreds of years
so good?
So good. And I think it's the depth.
It's the resonance and it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's that he writes, really, he gets to the core of what people are feeling. He like sees people so well, and he writes that, and it just is beautiful to watch.
And that's hopefully something that continues on with modern playwrights too.
Absolutely.
Some of our favorites. I hope that continues. I am partial to Samuel D. Hunter as a modern playwright. He wrote The Whale. If folks, you can see the movie first and then maybe see a production of it, but that's a great entryway into complex, human, but he's just superb at difficult relationships and the feelings you have amongst that. I saw Grangeville, his latest premiere, last March at the Signature Theater in New York, and it was like the best straight play I think I'd seen in like 10 years. I was blown away. So I think we see that. I think we see that. And it's not super common, but that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as we get to, I think, as theater owners, like share and express those views whenever we can and put that in front of people to help connect community, share stories, and remember that we're all human. At the end of the day, the world is crazy and on fire, it feels like most of the time, to various degrees. But if you can control what you can control, you just focus on that. And if part of that is to have the ability to produce some really great storytelling that brings people together, it's like, who needs drugs when you can produce live theater?
I mean, I know. I think,
hard drugs, to be clear. Like, sometimes you do need some drugs.
I need my antidepressants, please.
You need some OTC sometimes.
But I think, there's something really magical. People being together, right? I think that in this digital age, like, every form of people being together in a room, doing something together is, like, so just beautiful and valuable. I think that everyone here, has experienced that magic when you're like, man, an audience all crying together. All experiencing grief together. That's huge.
Last
oh my
summer,
God.
Elizabeth Laidlaw put on a one-woman production of an Iliad.
At the Lakeside Shakespeare. Last year.
And it is
so
a hour and a half monologue.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful and it's devastating.
It's really devastating.
And I was sitting there in the front row crying and look over to my right and there's my friend Eric crying. And I look over to my left and there's Leo sobbing.
Right?
And I think
then you look over to my left and there's like an old man we don't know, also tears going down his face.
And to sit in a group of people and experience such a collective reaction and grief about what we're seeing.
In that case, it was war. In that case, it was war. It was like the toll that war takes on people.
Yeah.
And all the people that have been lost across the ages. That play positions the poet, the person saying the play, as the person who's like been alive this whole time, has watched all these wars keep playing out about these same things and is tired of it. Yeah. And you're all like together experiencing that like grief across ages together. Yeah, experiencing emotions with people you know and don't. It's so beautiful. I think of like when we saw Hadestown, the like communal gasp,
so
right? Everyone, when he turns.
Yes.
And of course I know it's going to happen. And the whole theater gasp at the same time.
And this one little tiny kid voice actually gasped. It was the saddest thing. I was like, I don't think you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw it last, I think it's December, there was this gal who had, I don't know if she was one of the original cast members, but it was like her final night. Aww. And then it was 2 weeks into some famous British guy who's on the stage now. I don't know. And there was some unique chemistry. I mean, you've seen this once, so you don't know if necessarily if it's like this every time. You may hope it is. But there was just some wild chemistry going on, and it was so beautiful. And I was like, man, I would love to produce this show because it's just so phenomenal.
It is.
And then I was like, yeah, but I also need like a rotating stage and fly space. Crap.
They built a rotating stage at OTP for Wedding Singer, which I was in.
I heard about that.
It did not turn like 50% of the time. It was so funny. It almost killed us multiple times. We'd get on. When they first built it, no shade to anyone. No shade to anyone. It's just one of those things where the team's like, I guess we build a rotating stage. The break wasn't good enough, so we'd get on and be dancing on it, and it's like jiggling around. You're like, come here to the theater.
You're like kind of merry-go-round, like, Oh my gosh. I love this so much. I'll wrap us up here and then we'll go into rapid fire. But I think holistically, I know I've said this before on the podcast, so hopefully the listeners are not sick to death of me here, but I think the best part of whether it's of performing arts is that you have whatever audience you have, regardless of whether they paid or it's not, or whatever venue you're in, you are gathering people who come from, guaranteed, so many different backgrounds, so many different experiences, who don't know each other, who have never seen each other in their lives and may never see each other ever again, whose paths might have some star-crossed lovers, who knows, right? And you get them all in one room to enjoy and share in a story about humans.
Yeah.
Like, where else is that's not happening in boardrooms and offices and whatever else. Like, it's happening with performing art. And I love so much that it's growing, that we're growing it here in Northern Michigan. So I'm so excited, Twas in Lakeside, and all the things that you all are doing. So let's wrap up with rapid fire.
Ooh.
5 questions.
Okay.
Super simple. You probably already have answers to all of these, honestly. Knowing what I know of you two, I almost guarantee you all have answers to this. Okay. Favorite Shakespeare drama?
What do you mean by drama?
It's
not rapid fire.
Not funny.
Not funny. I'm going to have to go Henry 6-3.
Henry 6-3.
Might be Richard III.
Okay. Favorite Shakespeare comedy?
12th Night.
12th
Big
Night.
surprise, yeah. Favorite place to perform or to be part of a performance?
Tank Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gee. Was that a surprise? Okay. Favorite performance ritual, like something you do backstage ahead of a show?
Honestly, just silence together. Just sitting together in silence is really powerful.
Okay.
I don't know if I have something for this.
That's
I'm gonna
fine.
be honest.
I don't know, drink?
Usually it's panicking.
Yeah.
Both of us panicking at each other backstage.
Okay, that's good.
Before we have to give a speech.
That works.
Yeah.
I actually had,
The panic is real.
I'll sideswipe this. I had a comedian say, yeah, he does this thing where, and it was really ironic because he had talked about this terrible idea that somebody had to do, like those silent disco things, but they did it for comedy. Yeah. It was, yeah.
I don't understand this.
Okay, like silent disco, you have headphones and you hear the music, but it's not loud. And so everyone else has them, so you're all just wearing headphones and you're jamming to whatever.
Yeah. But how's that work with comedy?
So it doesn't. It does not. And so he was talking about, like, there was 2 options on this little headphone
Two
set.
different comics.
And one was a comic and one was music. And then they lit up colors depending on what channel. So lots of red for, like, the musician and a couple people going green. And then he was the comedian. And then they just switched around. So this disco conversation. And then he said to prepare himself, he, like, freaks himself out. He's just anxiety's like an anxiety attack kind of thing. And then he goes, fuck it, we got it. And I said,
wasn't that bad.
So you have your own silent at the disco. Silence at the disco, panic at the disco. Okay, last question.
Okay.
Favorite thing to do in Michigan outside of the performing arts?
A swim. I've been a fish ever since I was little. There's so much beautiful water here.
Yeah, for me, it's swimming and just beach time.
You can't copy me every single time.
Then you should let me answer first.
I love you.
I don't know if I've had a married couple on before, actually. I've had people that have known each other for so long, they feel like a married couple, but not an actual one. So fantastic. Thank you both so much for being on. This was deep thoughts by Leo and Max, but also just an absolute blast. So looking forward to IDES April 19th from 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
At the Commons. And then this summer, 2 fantastic shows, July 23rd through August 1st, Midsummer Night's Dream and Macbeth, coming to Tank Hill for Lakeside Shakespeare in Frankfort, Michigan. Don't forget to go to A&W, and if you can swing by Crystal Gardens, not sponsored, but totally could be. Thank you both so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yay.